What are you? If you're a person of multiple ethnic backgrounds, you more than likely have been asked this question a number of times in your life. For many people, the answer to this question is a simple one-word response. However, for me, it is a lot more than that. It is a story. Growing up as a part of two different cultures has offered me a journey of unexpected moments and opportunities for self-discovery. For context, my mother is fully Filipino and my father is fully African American. Both heritages are rich in culture, tradition, and history, and I am blessed to be a part of both. But despite this, I've often felt out of place, even in my own communities. As a young child visiting the Philippines a few years back with my family from America, I had plenty of fun experiencing the Filipino culture. But for some reason, I couldn't shake the feeling that I did not belong. I felt out of place in my own mother's home country. Although my American cousins were different than the Filipinos out there, I felt even more different than that. I felt that the locals there saw me as even more of an outsider because I was black, even though I am just as Filipino as I am black. This feeling of imposter syndrome followed me everywhere I went. It wasn't just about race. It was about never feeling enough. Around black people, I felt more Filipino. Around Filipinos, I felt more black. My identity seemed to constantly shift depending on the space I was in, as if I was never fully allowed to be both at the same time. Additionally, throughout high school, my parents have urged me to join clubs that revolved around my two cultures. They would always ask me, Jalen, how come you didn't join the Black Student Union? Or Jalen, how come you haven't joined the Filipino Student Association? I would always just brush off their questions by telling them that I either didn't have the time or that I just missed the signups. But in reality, I did have the time, and I knew exactly when and where to sign up. I avoided these clubs because I felt that I would be judged for joining them. I felt that the second I walked into one of these club meetings, all eyes would turn on me because I was the outsider, because I was only half. And it didn't stop there. Small, seemingly harmless comments from others reinforced this internal conflict. As a basketball player, recently I began to braid and twist my hair more often because I didn't like playing with so much hair in my face. However, my teammates joked, "Oh, Jalen, you're playing a lot better now. It seems like you've unlocked your black side." I laughed along, but inside I wondered, was my blackness something I had to unlock? Had it not been visible before? These experiences made me question who I really was and whether I had the right to fully embrace both sides of myself. But what if identity isn't about choosing one side, but about embracing every part of who you are? For a long time, I let these perceptions shape how I saw myself. But it wasn't until my junior year in a social justice class where something finally shifted. We watched a documentary called 1000% Me, which went over the experience of a mixed-race person. For the first time, I heard people putting into words what I had felt my entire life. The struggles, the challenges, the confusion, the feelings of never being enough, but also the beauty of belonging to multiple cultures. From that point forward, I started to change my mindset. I began to recognize the unique experiences that came with my mixed identity. The traditions I got to celebrate from both sides of my family, from the foods, the languages, the stories, these are things that connected me to both my Filipino and my black heritage. I started seeing my identity not as something fragmented, but as something complete and whole. Despite this realization, social perceptions have not disappeared. People still see me through their own lenses. Black people still tend to view me as more Filipino, while Filipino people still tend to view me as more black. It's almost as if people define me by what I lack rather than what I am. But here's the difference now. I no longer let these perceptions define me. Instead of shrinking myself to fit into categories that were never meant for me, I've learned to take ownership of my own identity. I am both black and Filipino, not half of each, but fully both. I have the power to exist in spaces that may not have been designed for people like me, and I'm beyond proud of that. Being mixed race has shaped the person I am today in many ways that I could not have imagined. It has taught me the power of self-acceptance, the power of adaptability, and the power of resilience. It has given me a unique perspective on how I see the world and has allowed me to navigate through different cultures with confidence. For so long, I avoided the question, what are you? Because I didn't know how to answer it. But now, I see it as an opportunity to tell my story, to embrace who I am, and to challenge the idea that identity has to fit into neat little boxes. So what am I? I am Black, I am Filipino, I am both, and I am whole. And I would not want it any other way.